Yay! Okay, we're gonna call this story time with Shoshana. I'm wrapping myself up in my blankie. I have my warm milk. Tell us the story,
Okay,
Shoshana.
so I'm gonna do a slightly academic thing and like tell you what to watch out for. And so, what the story is about, and some of the takeaway points are about how no one way of doing an intervention, no one way of supporting yourself
Mm,
is ever going to be enough. Not even with the category of it. So
mm,
I was invited, honored to be invited to on Indigenous Peoples Day as well to speak with the group of highly motivated, committed activist people of color and Indigenous peoples. So honored. Thank you all. And we were talking about how energy psychology, which is the use of the energy fields of the body to relieve trauma, and for me particularly as relevant for BIPOC, is the relief of ancestral trauma and the ability to bundle traumas and the ability to relieve trauma without having to give a narrative to it. So all those
mm.
three things are phenomenally important. And if you only do that, you're leaving out two other really important pillars. And I talked about the somatic pillar and like the breathing, like how energy psychology and somatics overlap, and the other kinds of modalities that really leverage that we actually have bodies. And one of the participants there said, I live in California, and there are a lot of people here who are into somatics. And she's not, I'm smiling. She's like,
Right, she's
she
serious.
doesn't know where I stand with it, right? And
Yeah,
she says
yeah.
I'm a white person, so she don't know yet. She's like, well, you can breathe and feel better, but it doesn't, she's very hesitant to say, seem to go anywhere with it. She was quite firm with it, just hesitant to be that bold, but she was exactly right. And
Hmm.
that was my point. So I shared
Hmm.
that I have a comedy character called Amber Chakra Dolphin. May I introduce her? I said.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. I have to get the name right. Amber Chakra Dolphin. This is our
Yeah, the
character.
three names. Her middle name is Chakra because, chakras run down the middle of the body.
I feel like I've met this bitch in many contexts, especially in California. Please proceed. I'm ready to go.
And she's always white, isn't she? So,
Yeah.
Amber Chakra
Well,
Dolphin.
okay, bring it.
Hi, my name is Amber Chakra Dolphin. I'm in my early 20s. I'm a yoga teacher. And have you heard about the microbiome? And I do a lot of like polyvagal breathing and down regulating of my nervous system so I can be calm even when people are being really shit to me. Because it's really important to be able to stay grounded in your spirituality. And I wish you could be as spiritual as me. Yeah. So if you did more of what I did, then, maybe you could be as wise as I am.
Oh my god. I I am triggered in multiple facets of my being. I feel like I have been in yoga classes taught by this person.
So have I, yes.
I feel like I have met this person. I feel like this person has been colleagues that I've been around where I'm like, wow, I really don't know how to. I'm just gonna be nice to you. Like I'm just gonna be civil
It's
because
like, I don't know where to start with this
I
one.
don't
What?
even know. Yeah, I'm like that's cool. I'm just gonna back out
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. And so the person I was speaking to got that I got it. And this particular group really focuses on the spiritual aspect, which is really, really important. Like a lot of psychotherapy and even social justice really amputates the spiritual, where in some ways the spiritual, well, not in some ways, the spirituality is the container, the all is well, that we're all innately well and we're all innately intact and unbroken no matter what. Like, no matter
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
is so powerful. And that's what makes it safe to feel everything that we feel. And the Amber Chakra Dolphins of the world are using their fake spirituality to protect their lack of emotional intelligence and to
Yeah.
actually pretend they have much more spiritual intelligence, of course, than they actually do.
Yeah.
And no matter how much people do a deep dive into any one of those silos, unless you've got all three, that you move into your body, that you have a spiritual paradigm that holds it all together, and that you increase your emotional intelligence, ain't nothing much going to happen for you that's going to take you into sustainable happiness or fulfillment.
I would really like you to repeat that again. I would really like to present this as a formula, because we do a lot of thought experimenting here. A possible formula for sustainable happiness made of 3 parts in this conversation. Please say those parts again.
The 3 parts for sustainable happiness are...
Folks, we're giving it to you for free. We're not trying to sell you nothing. We're not like snake oil. I'm not going to be like, so here's my supplement line. Like, no.
No.
Here's the free formula. Try it out for yourselves. Come back and tell us about for sustainable happiness. Go.
Here you go. Okay. So the container for it all is spirituality. And unless your spirituality contains an all is well, that you're already intact and well, it's not as profound. The way you're doing it isn't as profound. All traditions, all religions have a way into that. It doesn't matter whether you have your own indigenous practice, Buddhist practice, Jewish mysticism practice, whatever it is, Christian practice, Islamic practice, I'm not leaving out any of the majors, Muslim practice. They all have a way into all is well already. Not later, after I shuck off this nasty body or irrelevant body, but now in this precious here and now, being exactly in the right place at the right time. Everything is happening for you on your behalf to your benefit, even though that seems abso-fucking-lutely ridiculous. That's the container.
That's our starting point.
And our regrounding point. And within that, so it's safe to be in the body, even if you've had stacks and stacks and stacks of personal experience, even if you on the daily are assaulted with the awfuls out there, even if on the daily you're assaulted by the awfuls inside that you may still be carrying from old, or just like you just have to keep eating it because it's out there, right? We're already okay, all of us. Exactly so, no matter what. So it's really safe to be in the body. So it's safe to do the polyvagal work that brings you out of the collapse, out of the lower portion of vagal dominance. The vagus nerve goes from 10th cranial nerve, face, down the neck, heart, lungs, through the diaphragm into the digestive system, and all the organs down there that we carry. And once you get below the diaphragm, you're in shutdown. So it's safe because you're already okay to come alive to the pain that made you shut down, to come alive to the anxiety and rage that is waiting for you as you climb up the vagal ladder into ventral, the connection where you can most easily feel that connection to all is well. But if you're only doing that practice, you're just doing a cover-up. Just ask any Amber Chakra Dolphin.
Amber Chakra Dolphin. So those three elements are use the body. I'm simplifying it. Use the body. Have the orientation point. Reground into that we are already whole as we are.
And emotional intelligence. And the emotional intelligence it can be a really big topic. I think a lot of it could be summarized as keep your capacity for play and own your shit.
What's so interesting and difficult sometimes when we're vibing and having these conversations, there's so much packed into the explanation, which is why I try to be like, give me the 3 simple things, like be in your body. This is a point of orientation and emotional intelligence practices. And it's a way for us to break down decades?
Generations?
of like acquired skill building, survival tools, refinement, recognizing I don't have to just survive, I can be in thriving, the recognition of the larger human narrative of, do I shed the body or do I adopt the body? You know, like these are concepts that are not new. And I think as a person of color would trigger how Amber Chakra Dolphin.
Isn't she
By the,
fabulous?
by the way, I just want to say that I don't think it's I don't think it's accurate or fair. It's like she's always white. The majority of the time she's white, like 70%. Okay, like 100%. Like I'm not gonna.
Over 90.
I have not had that experience.
Okay.
And by the way, folks, Shoshana and I know that when we're talking about our own personal experiences and anecdotal sharing, we're not saying that that holds up to a statistically validated poll. Like we are just being in ourselves.
Yes, this is not data driven. This is pure subjective opinion, generalizing from our own sample size of one, which is methodologically extremely inadequate and inappropriate. Thank you, Mel.
Adopted by a lot of people these days as a scientific part of the method. So like
without question, yes.
But I have met, and it's almost a reaction, I think sometimes. Okay, let me tighten this up. How I am triggered by Amber Chakra Dolphin, specifically as a person of color, is that because I don't use certain language, or I haven't changed my name to something that I find tropey or borrows, which I'm not saying is malicious in intent, so we're not even going to go there. I'm just saying, like, but if I don't do it that way, I'm not recognized as spiritual. When I'm like, did you grow up doing exorcisms and spell casting and talking to the dead people since you were like out the womb? Because, and I don't like to do that. I don't like to pull a spirituality card, but if somebody's going to do that, and it feels like that to me because I've been called out. This is like story time with Mel now. I was in a yoga studio. I'm going to keep it all nameless because there's no reason to like drag people.
I'm sorry to interrupt, just to apologize. I held up my hand to do 4 or 5 because you were just talking yesterday about when you were 4 or 5 doing more formal training. But
Right.
yes, you had done earlier stuff which prepared you to go on the formal training.
Like
So my apologies for that.
Oh no, not at all. Like, and also for people who are here us talking, this is going to be on YouTube so you can see as well as hear. But when we're gesticulating, but yes, there was a lot of formal training that I got into when I was younger. But when you come out, any of us, you're already soaking up in your environment the vibes. Whatever you're born into, this is just your point of normalcy, and it's kind of bananas when people don't know you and you're not running around wearing that on the outside. That you're like, I'm just that and I'm used to that, but I'm not going to change my name and I don't have to have like. I love meeting blonde chicks named Shakti, and I'm like, stop it, Karen. Stop. Just be Karen. Just represent good Karen. Like, reclaim it, girl. Anyway, so I was in a yoga studio with a woman of color, and she overheard us, because it's a small space. She overheard me talking to another woman of color. Okay, so we're all women of color here, but we in the whitest of environments because we are in a yoga studio in New York City. So my girlfriend and I are talking, and I said something like, ugh, makes me so fucking depressed. Some shit like that, right? And this woman said to us in Amber Chakra Dolphin voice, you know, you should be much more aware of your language and your choices and what you manifest with your words. And there are people who are actually depressed. And we don't want to disrespect that. And it was like that. It was just this very weird tone. And it took my girlfriend and I by such surprise. And we could see that she was so sincere that we went, yeah, you're right. And then I just disengaged because what's the option? The option is I'm going to get into a whole ass conversation with you about how you don't know me and how you don't know how I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression in college and work my way through that and all the other myriad things. And that I feel like I'm allowed to just say something. And as a witch who believes in the conscious co-creation of my reality in the universe, I can't have a fucking moment to just use language flippantly within a trusted container.
In a way that helps you diffuse actually getting depressed.
Right. And so we didn't. Because we were like, I don't think we're going to be heard. So we were just like, yeah, that's a good reminder. Bye. And then we did like the Homer Simpson in the bushes where we just like receded off the out of the way. But that's the fucked upness of what you're describing, and why maybe that woman of color was like trying to be like, I don't think it works like that, because we're confronted in these highly spiritually quote unquote charged spaces with how to be and how to speak. And if you don't talk like this, and if you're not I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Okay? That's why, by the way, that kind of bougie ass classist spirituality doesn't reach its hands into areas which we could say like the ghetto, which is absolutely fucking true, but also women like me, women like Shoshana, which you wouldn't guess because you can see it between the two of us, because I'll present a certain way and then my ratchetness will come out and then I'll put Smith College on. You know, like we both know how to code switch really well. But we also know what it is to grow up real fucking rough. And that if your spiritual practice isn't touching that reality, if it's not with you in the dark, what fucking spirituality are you talking about?
Right. If you're not willing to do your shadow work. Exactly.
That's right.
Right. That's what I was summarizing as owning your shit is doing your shadow work.
And this, I have like these little like aphorisms, my Shoshana, like, you know, like the illuminated manuscripts of Shoshana is in my head, in my brain. And I'm sure she has some stuff for me too. Like I completely see it. But you said something a while ago, Shoshana, about like, find play, but own your shit. And there's this beautiful vibration to that where it's like, I can be whole in my mess now and find the beauty and the joy in moving through the shadows, which is real, people. Which is real, which is why I think, and I know we're going into a deeper dive on this than we meant to, but this is, I think, fascinating. It is partially what I consider to be the cultural homelessness that white people, white seekers, white mystics, people who are really looking for something, who haven't done the work yet to see inside, it's not wrong to be inspired by another spiritual practice or a culture. That's the beauty of humanity. Yes, 100%. And I think we can all adopt without misappropriating, 100%. But if you haven't done your own work to know your lineage, to know who you are, you dishonor yourself. You're acting as if you're an empty vessel and you're looking for other things or other people to fill you. It's the same shit that happens in romantic entanglement. You are already whole. So for all the Amber Chakra Dolphins, actually I would like to give you a big hug and say, before you put all this on, what did you come to the table with? Let's take some of this off. Show me your real power, because I can see how this is false and that you're really trying. And so, yeah, did that make sense? That's it.
That was very kind, and I think in some ways generous, because as we both know, especially for white people, right, there can be a lot of protection and defendedness around really owning totalities. And just kind of want to put it out there, for instance, in Europe, there are very rich heritages of shamanism, white shamanism, grassroots, tribal shamanism.
Yes.
And one of the people I work with is Prune Harris, and she is a Nordic shaman within the Celtic traditions, because that's her heritage. And she opens that out to anyone who really wants to learn it because she wants to share it.
Which to me is the mark of a witch who has done her work, who has done her shadow work, and can sit in her power in the generosity that Shoshana is pointing out that I often have, that I know sometimes will surprise people because I'm so fierce in my truth telling. But when people are coming to me in ways that could be offensive or wrong, because of the work I've done on myself, which up levels any of your magical practices, any of your spirituality,
Right?
I have clarity of sight. And I can see through the pretend and I can see the suffering within. And sometimes, not all times, but sometimes that allows me to say, come sit on my lap. Because I see what you're trying to do. And if we can get you to do this in a way that connects you really to your personal power, then the world's a better place.
It's exactly the phrase that was in my mind.
Yes.
Yes. And Prune runs a really strict training program. It's not like take whatever you want and run off, do whatever you want with it. She's strict with it, but she will teach you if you want to know.
That's it. Like it's a beautiful thing, and it's very fair to see that we are all struggling. And this is the motto with people who join my army. When you come and train in your witchcraft with me, you will join an army of benevolent witches. Because in your power, I want our power to help the world. You don't just gain power for your own self. We see that magic's all over the place. Those are the Bitcoin bros and the people who join them.
Yep. And I want to add, earlier you said, look, you're not here to like sell stuff. Like you have no course coming up. It's like, hey, sign up at the link below and we're an affiliate or Prune Harris. No, neither of those.
Right.
We're not here for any of that.
No. And that doesn't mean we don't have teachings to offer or courses, but when we're here talking to people, it's like, look, there's a lot of shit out there. You got to be able to discriminate what's real, what works for you, and what's sincere. Your body will tell you. And I really love hearing about that.
But your body will tell you if you're willing to dive through the bullshit, because there can be a lot of static, signal, noise, interference from emotional and spiritual dysfunction.
AKA, do your work.
Ta-da!
Okay, good. I'm glad we solved that problem. Done. Everybody, you're better. Everybody who's listened to this, I heal you with some knowledge. And and be well, everyone. Okay? Good job. Good job, everybody.
Bye, beautiful people.
Sign up for the website courses. Bye.